Hello YouTube, today on Auto Kit Reviews I have from Moebius Models or Model King, Tim Flock's 1952 Hudson Hornet Stock Car. So take a look around the box and see what this comes with. So looking here on the bottom, we have, shows the 1952 interior, shows that it has some of the vintage racing parts. On the end here, we have kit number 1202, or 1202. This is in 1/25th scale. It's a nice side view of the Yanko Flacco car. And then same box art on the other end there. So, go ahead and open it up and take a look around the kit. Go ahead and dig to the bottom here, grab our information sheet. Set that off to the side. Alright, so our instruction booklet here. We do have our important information here as to make sure that you keep draw attention to, if you are going to remove the fender flare here, that there is a 1/4 of an inch that must be left to actually accurately depict the car. So we have basic information here on the front. I will go ahead and let me make sure that is nice and clear for you guys. You guys can go ahead and read that at your leisure. Opening it up, have a trifold instruction sheet. Starting up here, we have our engine, getting that built up. Building up our wheels and sub-assemblies for the steering and the rear end. We have our chassis going together here with our exhaust pipes. Have our interior going in. Now, a lot of cars back in this early day of NASCAR was pretty much stock. They still had, in some cases, the radio in it. They didn't really strip too much out. They stripped some stuff out for weight savings, but relatively, this was the day when it was a stock car right off the showroom floor with just a few light modifications. So, and we have some great color photos here to show you what each area looks like. Color schemes for that. So we have underside detail, our dashboard detail, engine detail, and then the exterior paint scheme for his 1952 car. And then on the back we have suggested paint colors. Excuse the next door neighbor getting some mowing done. So you can see the two-tone colors to actually depict legitimate Hudson Hornets of the day. You can get that. Alright, so we'll set that off to the side. We'll go ahead and take a look at the relatively small decal sheet here. Now, Power Slide specifically, I know, has released a few different stock cars that were from NASCAR. We do have a review on Frank Mundy's car. But there was just a few different ones so that they had released. I believe the number 120 was another one. Taking a look here though, we do have the dials, gauges, and interior detail information, which is really nice. Pretty flat decal sheet here. And then we have the numbers and sponsor decals for a couple of different number 91 cars. We have the two different right and left ones, which have the streaks going in opposite directions. Now the sad thing is, looking at reference photos, it does not appear that there is actually the correct number of 91s to build an accurate representation of his car. That's actually the reason I went ahead and I will be using this one as more of a donor kit. But if you're not a stickler or a rivet counter, as they say, this will build up to a very nice general representation of his Hudson Hornet here. So let's get into the parts and take a look at that. Slide the decals back out of the way. Starting here, we have our clear sprue. I'll just go ahead and get the big clear sprue out. Which has the rear window, as well as, which also has molded in the 2 side windows for the rear end. We have our front windshield, a couple of air intake windows, have 2 tiny little brake lights here, slide that back in just to protect the clear parts. We have our chrome trees. Which has our front bumpers here. Rear bumper. Rear bumper up here, steering wheel, interior detail including the steering column. Then a couple of additional bumpers here, and the nice Hudson Hornet. Get that out to the side. Take a look at the body of the kit. Go ahead and zoom into a little bit farther distance there. So, very nice panel lines. We do have the molded in side detail, so that will need to be painted in a chrome or some other chrome leafing. You can see here we do have the full fender skirt. We have our main interior tub and lower chassis assembly. We have the wheels and tires, which are nicely treaded. Again, at this stage in NASCAR, they pretty much were running stock wheels. We have the single metal axle for the rear end. And we have 2 more bags of parts. We have, in this one, our chassis. Actual chassis assembly here. Let me try to lock that in a little better for you guys. There you go. Which does have the front suspension already molded in. We have our flat 6. Which has very nice spark plug detail right there. Around it, all of that in glorious detail. We have wheel backs, assorted bars to go around inside of the model. And then our last bag here, which has our, that didn't want to hang up, there we go. So, have our really nice steely rims. We have our interior, which has very nice molded in fabric textures. Some of the radiator hoses, our exhaust pipes. Not opened on the end, but that's not a big deal. Most cars aren't. Have our other interior pieces here with the nice fabric detail in that. Side panels and the front bench seat. Big old hood. Dashboard. Pedals. Front suspension. Rear end. Looks like radiator mount and support, and the 2-piece or 2-part drive shaft. So looks like it'll build to a very nice detailed representation of a NASCAR Hudson Hornet. Have a